Hi, and welcome back to my spiritual corner. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Ragna, and I'm a Norwegian solitary witch, writer, spiritual teacher, and tarot reader. And in this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about spiritual awakening, a journey through 6 stages. Um, in this podcast, I talk about heaps of spiritual stuff, spiritual themes, spiritual practice, and I come with my I tell you stories from my own experience and I give you my best tips on how to have a good and healthy spiritual practice. But I thought maybe I should just start talking about spiritual awakening, what that is, and what kind of stages you go through, what I mean we go through. This is my these 6 stages are based on my own personal experience through my spiritual journey, but also what I have seen when I have talked with God knows how many clients about spiritual awakening, about accepting their spirituality and embracing it, and also talking with my colleagues, so to speak, other healers, other clairvoyants, and how they experience their spiritual awakening. So these 6 stages, they came to me like an epiphany back in 2020. I think a lot of people had the epiphanies back then, with the world going crazy with the pandemic. So this just came so strongly to me. So I just want to say I also written a Norwegian article about this in the magazine. I'm part of the editorial team, Medium, the Norwegian spiritual magazine. You can find an article there called in Norwegian "Hvordan komme ut av det spirituelle skapet," how to get out of the spiritual closet. So I've written about it in Norwegian there if you want to go deeper with this. And I promise I will make some English version of this on my webpage as well. But I'm going to talk about the stages now. So just keep listening and I'll let you know what this is all about. And as always, I give a free tarot reading at the end of the show. And today it's Ragna, which sent me a request on my webpage. So you will get a general tarot reading at the end of the show. And please know, friends, that you can send me requests for a free tarot reading on, for example, on the email address podcast@ragnaspiritualcorner.com, or just contact me via my webpage or Instagram, Facebook, whatever suits you. So just, and maybe I pick your questions. So, and you can send requests for free tarot reading, or if you have any questions about spirituality, spiritual themes, spiritual practice, I am more than happy to answer it. I have gotten some emails as well with a lot of questions about spiritual practice, and I'm saving them up to a Q&A episode. So I think that's going to be really cool. So please know that you can send me your questions. So let's get on with today's theme about spiritual awakening. So I'm just gonna sum up the 6 stages, and I'm going to go more in detail in every one of them. The first episode, the first stage is the grand awakening, like the big awakening, and then we go into a stage called exploring, and then a third stage called fear and stagnation, and then the fourth stage is signs and new awakening, and then we go into insight and wisdom, and then finally a stage with or a phase of flow, acceptance, and peace. So I'm going to talk about every one of them now. And know that all these stages, they kind of go, you go in and out of them, and it doesn't have to be chronically at the way I'm listing them now. They can be like you can start all the way around feeling peace, and then maybe going into fear, and then going back to peace stage again, or maybe you get some new signs now and again. So it's perfectly normal. But these stages that I'm listing now, and the order I'm talking about them, is from my what I have seen with my own experience and with other people, my clients, my spiritual colleagues. They kind of also had these stages this way first. So, stage number one, the big awakening. This is kind of when you realize you are meant to have a more spiritual life. And usually, I don't mean to be dramatic, this happens in as a result of some kind of crisis in your life. I think all everyone I talked about that suddenly just kind of embraced their spirituality, it's been something that's happened to them. Like either they burnt out, completely stressed out at work. Maybe someone even had a near death experience that totally changed their life. Maybe had some health issues. Maybe it was a relationship that ended or started, or they met someone, had a dramatic experience in some way or another. And this is how it was for me as well, back in 2014 when I had my great awakening. Because I've always been interested in spiritual stuff since I was a kid, and I remember being a teenager as well, being super interested in mediumship, astrology, crystals, all this kind of woo-woo stuff. And my mom also being an energy doing some energy healing now and again. So it's I've always had this interest, but I'm kind of just put a lid on it and kept doing whatever the right thing to do, being a good student, for example. So back in 2014, shit hit the fan in my case. I had oh my god, it's crazy thinking about now, but I'm happy for everything that has happened and everything I have experienced. But it's still kind of I get like tired just thinking about all that happened. Back in 2014, I was finishing my master's in film and television science. And at the same time, I also got offered a job in one of Norway's biggest film distribution companies as a marketing assistant. And of course, being the right thing to do, if you think of what society thinks is the right thing to do, of course, I said yes to that job. So it was perfect with networking with my degree, and it gave a lot of heaps of possibilities, and my family was happy, my friends were impressed. uh, yeah, and we moved to Oslo, me and my partner, and I worked my ass off basically. So I finished my master's in May 2014, at the same time working full time at as a marketing assistant. But to be able to finish my master's, I used every day I had free, spare time, holidays, everything to work on my master's. So I got completely burned out. And at the same time, um, the company I worked at also were going through some major transformations. There were a lot of, yeah, it was a lot of transformation in the way the industry was heading, and it was a lot of stress basically. And I thought I was at the right place, I thought I did the right thing, that I this was where I was supposed to be, but I absolutely hated it. And it feels so bad saying, like, I love movies, I love films and television, and I love the scientific part of it as well. A part of me will always have this kind of geeky film nerd in me. And I will always love how movies and film and television kind of reflect and also shows how the society changes. So one part of me will always love this, and I don't regret my education. But it was like 5 years and heaps of study loans, and yeah. Well, I'm baffling. Uh, so it's actually a bit difficult talking about. I thought this would be easy. So yeah. So forgive me for being a bit back and forth. Well, the story is I got completely burned out. And at the same time, me and my partner, we had this loving dog, bulldog, English bulldog actually, called Stella. And she had some health issues, and we had troubles finding out what was wrong with her and how we could help her in the best possible way. So we found out through X-rays that she had some elbow dysplasia, but still it was a lot of things that wasn't adding up. So having some kind of spiritual interest from before, and some of my friends as well, not a lot of them, but they recommended trying an animal communicator called Sissel Grana. And Sissel Grana is Norway's, I think, best known animal communicator. And we went to her and we had this lovely session, and she really helped us with Stella. So I really liked her work, and I found it completely amazing how that talking with animals works. I probably have my own episode about it. Maybe Cecil will be my guest as well. That would have been awesome. So yeah, I found out after a while that also Cecil was also a great spiritual teacher, and she had a lot of cool workshops. So I signed up in 2014 on this weekend workshop called Get to Know Your Spiritual Gifts, or in Norwegian, Bli kjent med dine medfødte evner. And that weekend, in the middle of all this being burned out in my job and everything, that totally changed my life. So I got this really strong message during this workshop. Only a few weekends after I actually finished my degree, I think it was maybe 14 or 21 days after I finished my master's degree. With I got good grades as well. I got a B on my master, and but I totally felt so lost being where I was at the perfect place, the perfect location with my job as a marketing assistant, and doing really good with my thesis, my master degree, the paper we delivered and the presentation and stuff. I felt so lost. I was so dead tired, and I felt everything but happy. So I thought, okay, I just needed a weekend away. Stayed with a good friend of mine that weekend, and I went to the workshop during the day. And during this workshop, Cecil had this really strong um, meditation, guided meditation, a lovely meditation where we were supposed to talk with our spirit guides. And I managed to, like, I've earlier, you won't probably believe this, get if you followed me for a while, but I hated meditation. But it was so easy to meditate during that workshop. And I got to speak with my spirit guides, and they said really clearly to me, Ragna, stop where you are. It's not good for you, it's not healthy for you. You're supposed to heal, and you're supposed to write. And that totally made this deep connection to my soul and my heart. Everything was just turned upside down. I just finished my degree. I had 6 years at uni because 1 year before I studied film and television science, I also studied psychology. I had heaps of study loans, and I was at this perfect place in this company in Oslo. So I felt so ungrateful and completely lost, but I was so dead tired. But from that weekend on, I was really starting to embrace my spirituality, but it was so goddamn scary. But that was my big awakening. And it was a result of many things happening. Um, Pushing myself into this job where I did not feel at place at all, getting completely burned out, having this dog that needed special care, leading me to meet Cecil, which led me to this workshop. And yeah, it was so many things, but it was so scary, and my life was completely turned upside down. And the reason I'm using so much time talking about this, I think a lot of people have the same experience of the big awakening when their life is turned upside down. Suddenly they're in a job they don't feel at home at, or they're in a relationship that suddenly feels really wrong. They just get enough. Enough is enough, and they need to make change. Change is so deeply needed. And know that you are not alone. I think so many people go through this. And I felt that I was crazy, starting to check out how I could become a certified healer, energy healer here in Norway, how I could start my own spiritual business. Like, I just finished my master's, for God's sake. I was in a perfect job position. I had the network around me to build on my film and television career. But no, I was doing this completely different thing. Uh, and I met a lot of resistance both in myself. My ego was like, whoa, this is scary and crazy, stupid, God knows what. You're not good enough. I was doubting myself. And of course, like, my family was asking questions, my friends. Kim has always supported me. I can't believe how happy and blessed I am to have him. Like, he's always supported me, even though he's, of course, asked some questions. But okay, this is what you want to do. we do it. So I'm so blessed and grateful for him. Yeah, I can't even, yeah. So it was a really crazy time for me. Thing was turned upside down. So that's the first stage, how that's felt for me. And I know that a lot of other people has had their experiences as well, like crisis with illness, or maybe they're stressed out, completely burned out at a job, into some health crisis, into some depression or whatever. I Some kind of crisis turns your life upside down, so you need to change. So that's the, like, the big awakening, the first kind of calling of your soul. And then when you finally find out, okay, this is real, I'm going to embrace my spirituality, I'm going on starting my spiritual journey, you go into the second stage or phase, which I have called exploring or exploration phase. This is where you start um, to check out everything you can about. Uh, you try to gain as much knowledge and wisdom as you possibly can, through books, through oracle cards, maybe through online webinars, on physical workshops like I did with Sissel. And you just can't get enough. And I remember back in 2014, when all this was happening, I was then, as now, working with my lifestyle, and I was every week, I think it was every Monday, I don't remember the weekday exactly, but I think it was Monday, I went to this Weight Watcher club in Oslo after work. And the stop where my tram stopped was just where this lovely metaphysical spiritual shop, Mystic Dreamer, was. So I remember taking a bit earlier tram so I could just go around in this shop and just look and just be, just like take in the energy of looking at the crystals, looking at books, maybe buying some books, crystals, oracle cards. God knows how many, how much money I have left back in that store. But it was so enriching for me, and it was so exciting, and I just couldn't get enough. So if you're in the start of your spiritual awakening, your spiritual journey, please know it can be a bit expensive, some of the stuff. So know that it's a lot of free stuff as well online. Um, so if you want to explore, it is a heaps of free articles, and yeah, and also online courses as well, and a lot of cool YouTube videos. So, but by all means, go ahead, go crazy. I don't know how many tarot decks and oracle cards I have. So um it can be, I think my best tip for if you're in this exploration stage, just go with it. Of course, don't use all your money on it, maybe, but just let your soul drench its thirst for spiritual wisdom. Check out those online courses, take view these live shows, listen to podcasts like this one, um, play with oracle cards, check out, take a tarot course, like have fun with it. And you will probably get back to this stage. That is my experience, at least. Like sometimes I just get completely focused. I just want to dive into like a new theme. So enjoy it. And I think it's a way of our soul to remember stuff. So yeah, go with it. So that's the second stage, exploring. And then after you started, you're embracing your spiritual journey, and you're starting making this, you're taking it serious, you're taking yourself serious. So you're taking some courses. Maybe you are exploring how you can work with energy, how you can use your intuition to maybe talk to spirit, or to do readings. Uh, and maybe you're planning on starting your own spiritual business or something like that. Then you might hit this wall called fear and stagnation, which is a big one. That's a big stage and phase to work through, and you will meet it many times, my friends. So be gentle with yourself, and it's completely normal. You need fear actually to grow, and you need to learn how to face this fear to get the move on. So um my best tip here is to, okay, observe what you're anxious about. what are your fears around your spirituality or your spiritual journey? What's the worst thing that could happen? And thinking about that, stop and observe and think, okay, what's the best thing that can happen if I go on with this? If I follow my dream, or if I follow my urge to explore my spirituality and my spiritual gifts. So my best tip here is, yeah, get friendly with your fear, because often what you fear is also what you crave, what you need, what you want to learn. So um try to use it as a tool, actually, because if it's something that's really terrifying, maybe you should try it. Like I experienced this when I started doing my live shows and podcast and everything. I was so scared at the beginning for it, but then, and talking English as well, like seriously, it was so scary. But then when I started, okay, I'm it's probably not, well, I know it's not perfectly English, my pronunciations and everything, but it's good enough. And it's so fun. And it makes me feel happy. It makes me happy to do this podcast, to do my live shows, and to have online courses, to have and also in real life courses as well. So yeah, I pushed myself above the fear and beyond, and then I grew. I had this, yeah, it's been a really good, my confidence has really grown on me as well. So get to know what your fear are and how why you're anxious. Okay, so ask some kind of objective questions to it, and okay, what's the worst thing that could happen and what's the best thing? So that helps me, at least when I'm in this fear situation. And be around with people that makes you happy. Listen to inspiring podcasts, talk with that friend that always make you laugh or supports you. And one thing that's really important as well is be with people that are like-minded. There are so many spiritual communities online and in real life, both in Norway and internationally. Like here in Norway, Sissel, my mentor, she was my spiritual teacher that helped me, that I mentioned before. She has a membership course. I have a membership, or not course, but membership site. And I have a membership site called, I'm going to link in description both Sissel and my own as well. I have one called Sacred Circle. It's only for Norwegians still, but there are, we have membership, and there are so many different here in Norway. So just do a Google search seriously, and you will find one. And I know internationally that Rebecca Campbell, Kyle Gray have over in the UK, and there's probably many in Australia and the US as well. So it's just a Google search away, seriously. So invest time with people that share your interest. It will really be a investment for your soul, and it will help you on your spiritual journey. So after you have um dared to face your fears and start like getting friendly with it, you probably will receive a sign or a confirmation that you're on the right way. So this is the fourth stage, which I have called sign and new awakening. This is when you suddenly meet that person that helps you to uh, helps you, or gives you a kind of a, okay, you're on the right path, this is the right way to go. So someone really inspires you, or maybe you see a white feather like randomly lying around, like a sign from the angels, or you suddenly find that online course that will really help you to boost your spirituality. So that is the fourth stage, and it's a short and sweet, but it's so important for the rest of your growth, and it will really, yeah, boost your spiritual journey forward. You just kind of remember, okay, I remember where I was on my the big awakening. That was not good for me. And I know this spiritual way is the way to go in one way or another, even though it's goddamn scary. So I am on the right way. And then after having these signs and this kind of new awakening, you go into this fifth stage, which also is a short and sweet stage, but which I have called insight and wisdom. This is when you connect the dots, you see the bigger picture. This is the stage where I, for example, saw, okay, I had to have Stella, which was a dog that was sick, which was sad. And I had to be, because having her led me to contact Cecil, which again helps me on my spiritual journey. And we got the best possible treatment for Stella. And I got the best possible journey ahead for myself as well. So I kind of connected everything. And it also made me accept and understand that I put myself in the job I was. I needed to get burned out to allow silence and a break so I could listen to what was important for me. So, yeah, so that's kind of the insight, the revelation stage of the spiritual journey or your spiritual awakening. And then after that, after working with yourself, exploring, um, pushing yourself through fear, looking for signs and acting on signs as well, like, okay, going ahead, if you get, okay, this online course is good for me, and you do it, you read that book, you talk to that person, you take that challenge, you take that break, and you take that rest when you need it. After a while, you go into the sixth and final stage, which I have called acceptance. This is where you are in complete harmony and in peace with your spirituality. This is bliss. This is when you feel completely safe, and you know in your core that you're on the right way. Spiritual life, or your spiritual, your way of living your spirituality is the way to go. And you enjoy spiritual practice, you feel love, you act through love, and you spread the love as well. So this is a stage where you are in peace. So, but you can go a bit back and forth. So even though you maybe you can stay in this stage, and then you can have like a regression where you feel fear again, or you feel that you need to push yourself, or you want to explore, you want to learn more, you get maybe a new sign. So yeah, you can meet stagnation even though you have been in this sixth stage as well. So yeah, friends, that was the six stages of spiritual awakening, which I mean, like, this is my personal experience. This is not hardcore science, or I'm not saying that this is the way it is with everyone, but this is my personal experience, and also what I've seen when I've talked to clients and spiritual interested people, and also other light workers. It is through a great awakening, and then there is an exploration phase, and then it's the fear and stagnation, and then you get a new sign and a kind of new awakening, a remembering of why you're doing this spiritual journey in the first place. And then you see the big picture, you get the insight, you get the wisdom, and then finally you accept your spirituality, you believe in yourself, you believe in your spiritual journey, and you feel peace, harmony, and love. Okay, I hope that was uh, yeah, I hope that was inspiring, and that you feel a bit more safer in your spiritual journey. And know that you're not alone, and reach out to spiritual like-minded people communities. It is heaps of them here in Norway, and in internationally as well. Yeah, and I think then it's time for some tarot cards, and today it is Ragna, which sent me a request on my webpage, Ragne Slettbakk, and I'm happy to do your cards. You just wanted a reading, a general reading. So, and I'm using my tarot cats as normal. I'm a crazy cat lady, and I love these tarot cards, which are designed by Bunny D. Check out her Etsy shop. Like, she has a lot of cool stuff. I love her tarot cards because they are light and easy. They have a fun design. They make me happy. So I'm going to talk about tarot in one episode as well, and I'll let you know about what I mean about the cards having their own tone. So, Ragne, let's see what the card says for you. What message? I'm pulling 3 cards. I'm just gonna divide the deck here. Let's see. Okay, first card is Justice, and then we have 6 of Swords, and then we have 4 Pentacles. Okay, so thinking of this, I think maybe it's talking about, I think maybe some moving will happen, and it has something to do with um some what's it called again in English, real estate. Like, you're probably selling and buying some property, I think, with this. Justice is from the major arcana, and it is a big card when it comes to like paperwork in form of contract signing and writing contracts. And in this case, I see like a paper for your new house or that you're selling. I think you're moving. And the reason I feel that is also is because of six swords, which is a card that often is about moving from one phase to another. And in many cases, it can be mentally that you go from one kind of way of thinking, one way of truth to another truth. But in this case, I feel it has something with the physical moving to do. So, and also this will be good for you financially because Four of Pentacles comes, Ragna. Lovely name, by the way. And Four of Pentacles is a good card for healthy economy. Bills get paid, and there are more money in the bank than what you're spending. So if this, Ragna, like this is a general reading, like this can mean many things, but I see paperwork and I see moving and I see house. So I think this is about moving from one place to another, and that this will be a really successful move. And also choosing the tarot cats deck today, like on this card, Four of Pentacles, there are two cats holding hands or holding paws, or how do you say? So, um, so maybe this also has to do with your partner, or maybe you're moving in with someone as well, and this will be really good for your relationship. So yeah, and I think will be really healthy for you, and the sale and buying, like the whole transition, will be beneficial for you, Ragna. Okay. I think that's. I don't need to say anything more. Justice will be served with your with your moving, and it's going to feel good. With six words, moving is always positive. You're going to a better place where you get more peace of mind, and it also will probably be really good for your economy as well. Like you will earn on this sale, I think, and hope. So of course I can't promise anything, but this is the feelings I get when I pull your cards, Ragna. So thank you for your question, and I think that's it, folks, for today. And know that you can send in your request for a free tarot reading on the email address podcast@ragnaspiritualcorner.com, and or request for tarot reading, or if you have any questions about spirituality, spiritual practice, or spiritual themes, I am really looking forward to your questions. Okay, so thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to be seeing you in the next episode, which is in a week's time. And I think we're going to talk about the full moon, which is in the Easter weekend this year. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and until next time, blessed be. Bye.